I'm a mom of 3 boys, a card-carrying member of the Mom of Boys Club, or MOB for short. And by card-carrying, I refer, of course, to my trusty health insurance card, because we boy moms spend a lot of time in emergency rooms. When people discover that you're a testosterone birthing machine, they gasp and say things like, "There's a special place in heaven for moms of boys," and, "Oh, I bet they keep you busy." Don't all children keep us busy? I don't mean to be glib. Being an all-boy mom is something to hang your hat on. It's an exclusive club, maybe a little too exclusive sometimes. The dirty little truth that all mobs soon discover is this: the number of playdate invitations that you receive is inversely proportional to the number of boys you birth. My firstborn had a baby Rolodex that would rival most Hollywood agents. By the time boy number 3 came along, the only people willing to entertain us were other all-boy families who, like us, had given up on niceties like heirloom furniture, fine china, and lovely green grass unblemished by dirt bikes, digger trucks, and baseball spikes. During our rare public outings, people would see me struggling to corral my brood and exclaim, "Oh, I don't know how you do it." "Raising boys isn't so tough," I'd respond. "It's all physical, no mental." At least that's what I believed at the time. But I've learned a few things that changed the way I think about raising boys. The first of those learning moments happened a couple of years ago at urgent care, go figure. As we awaited the dreaded glue versus stitches decision from the pediatrician, you know what I'm talking about? My boys passed the time by counting their scars, reminiscing about all the stories behind them. "This one on my forehead? That's when I got nailed by the backhoe. This one on my knee? That's from when I slid down a chain link fence. Oh, you guys, remember that time I bit through my tongue?" My boys' eyes were shining with excitement, their bright smiles and giggles filling that sterile antiseptic room. And it hit me, an epiphany. Sometimes scars are for celebrating. For my boys, their scars, all 32 of them, we counted, are the markers of young lives lived free from fear. They aren't afraid to try new things, push limits, get up close and personal with danger. We parents supply love, encouragement, and the assurance that there will always be someone there to pick them up, kiss their boo-boos, whip out the health insurance card, and send them on to their next adventure. For a long time, for better or worse, that's how we lived, focused on the next adventure. But there was trouble brewing beneath the veneer of our active little family. My husband and I were not dealing with our emotional and relationship issues. Unresolved sadness turned to anger, and anger turned to the most dangerous emotion of all, indifference. Our family interactions became marked with ugly outbursts and painful silences. But through it all, we pretended everything was just fine, which was ultimately very destructive for our family. Finally, the day came that we had to tell our boys that life as they knew it would never be the same. Their father and I were getting a divorce. We prepared as best we could. We talked to therapists and did research. We knew how each boy could be expected to react based on his age and personality type. We even wrote out the entire divorce statement like some sad and demented news conference. Our boys were emotionally unprepared for the devastating news. The physical fitness we had spent so much effort cultivating in them wasn't going to carry them through the 5 stages of grief. It was awful. It was the worst day of all of our lives. And part of me hopes that it always will be, that my children will never, ever have to deal with anything more painful than finding out their parents were divorcing. Months passed, and we did our best to adjust to this strange new reality. of separate homes and shared custody. The first holiday post-split is etched in my memory. I was determined to decorate our formerly shared home for Christmas like we'd always done as a family. But as we unpacked ornaments, I became overwhelmed with sadness, loss, and feelings of failure. I began to sob silently like I'd done so many times before. You see, I wasn't so good at dealing with my own emotions. Maybe that's why raising boys seemed easy to me. I had spent years refusing to deal with difficult feelings, carefully cultivating an ice queen persona that I thought worked for me. Not so much. My middle son, the most perceptive of the bunch, caught on right away. "Mama, are you crying?" he said. "No, honey, I'm fine. Here, hang this one on the tree." "No, Mama, you're crying." "No, I'm not. Let's get this done, okay?" He wasn't buying it. Later, I discussed the episode with my therapist, somewhat confident in my assumption that maintaining a brave face at all costs is the most noble thing a mom can do. "Are you kidding me?" she laughed. "Your son saw you crying and expressed concern, and you denied what he saw with his own eyes. What does that teach him to do when he feels sad? Suffer silently and pretend everything's fine? No. You need to show him how to experience emotions and move on from them." And that's when it hit me, another epiphany. The emotional health of our boys deserves at least as much attention as we give to their physicality. It's all about balance. Our boys and our girls need to see mom, dad, brother, and sister cry. They need to hear that emotions are normal and healthy, and that learning to manage them is a valuable skill. They need us to lead by example, tending equally to our own emotional and physical well-being. Thanks to these lessons learned from boys, this former ice queen has transformed into a proud and loving mob. I'm taking a balanced approach to caring for my own physical and emotional health, and I'm teaching my boys to do the same. And while the epiphanies will probably keep on coming, I know we're all going to be just fine. Remember that the next time you run into us at your local emergency room. They do keep us busy, don't they?